Greetings from the Episcopal Church of the Advent and from your rector, Ned Morris. I have the forward day by day to share with you for Friday, September the 4th. And I wanted to share this with you because I found it to be very poignant and timely. One of the things I've learned recently is that the authors of the forward day by day are writing to us just about 1 year ago. And so you have to read these knowing that whatever the circumstances were a year ago is what these authors were writing in. So the passage is from the 9th chapter of the Gospel of John, verse 30. It's the story of the healing of the man who was born blind. It's a story that takes the entire chapter of the 9th chapter of John to tell. And so it's one of the longer, more involved healing stories, and there's a lot of drama that's involved in it. And you may be familiar with it. It's a great story. I recommend you read it. But here's the 30th verse of John chapter 9. The man answered, "Here is an astonishing thing. You do not know where he comes from, and yet he opened my eyes. I have become unsurprised by bad news. Another political mess, another milestone of ecological unraveling, another conflict on the global stage. It is often the good news that can be hard for me to accept and digest, especially when it comes from somewhere unexpected. Sometimes good news comes from unlikely places. A stranger helps out in a moment of crisis. An estranged friend puts aside past wrongs when times are rough. A hopeless situation takes a surprising turn for the better. Grace, especially when we are surprised by it, can be hard to accept." Some of the folks around Jesus could not believe the blind man had been healed, despite his testimony and that of his parents. Can anything good come from Nazareth? Just because we don't understand how it came to be that our enemies should bless us doesn't mean God cannot find a way. The moving forward question our writer asks is, when have you experienced or extended surprising grace? As we've been in this period of quarantine or very limited mobility and access to things, and certainly we've experienced that here at the church for about 6 months now, I hope that you have found some moments that have surprised you, something that has been a grace-filled event, an instance, an interaction, something that you weren't expecting. That's certainly been part of my experience as we've gone through these times of Zoom meetings and mask wearing and very restricted access to gathering. It still has been such a pleasant surprise when I've had the opportunity to be with people. And even though we've been masked, wearing masks or socially distant or maybe not interacting the way we usually have, what has occurred to me is that being together with people in person is really a gift, and it's not to be taken for granted. And it's amazing how much I find that I've missed as I've been on a number of Zoom meetings already this week. I realize how much I've missed not being in these meetings with people. You know, they say something like 80% of our communication is nonverbal. And when we have a face and a rectangle and a voice coming through our computer, although we get the gist of what is being said, we often miss a lot of what's being said nonverbally. So what I've noticed is that when I've been able to be with people, is that the physical cues, our body language, has actually started, I don't know, like speaking more loudly to me. And I've been able to notice more. And that's just kind of a surprising grace, just how much we are connected, how much we can convey with an expression, with hand gestures, or any other kind of nonverbal communication that we, most of the time, aren't even conscious of communicating with. So I hope that if you've been able to be with people or have just had seldom opportunities to do that, that you've been able to observe a little bit more of what it means to be in the presence of another and the gift of connecting. So I hope as Jesus connected with this wonderful healing story with that man who was born blind, and how Jesus continues to connect with us through others, that you'll take advantage of every opportunity and never take it for granted, the gift of human company. Thanks be to God. Thanks for spending time hearing this or watching this, and I hope that you will always know that you are loved.